Good morning friends. Today we are going to understand about a very important topic, that is the Indian Contract Act. In Indian Contract Act, basically here today we are studying two important questions. Question number 1, that why the Indian Contract Act was enacted. So to identify the reasons behind this, point number 1, that is need for uniformity. Before 1872, different regions of the India followed different personal laws and customs for the contracts, and this created the confusion and inconsistency in trade and commerce. Point number 2, colonial administration's objective. The British government wanted to establish a codified and uniform legal system to govern contractual relations across the India. And reason number 3, facilitate business and trade to promote certainty, transparency and fairness in business dealings, especially under the British rule. A clear laws needed to define, that is, what constitute a valid contract, what are the rights and duties of the parties, and what are the remedies in case of breach of contract. Reason number 4, based on English common law. Our Indian Contract Act was largely influenced by the English law of contract, with some modifications to suit Indian conditions. And finally, then it came into force on 1st of September 1872. Now, second point of view of understanding the Indian Contract Act about their application. So, as of now, the Indian Contract Act is applicable to all over the state, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, our union territories, after abrogation of Article 370 in 2019. Our Act govern all kind of contract like Sale of Goods Act, Partnership Act, Agency, Contract of Bailment and Pledge, and the general contracts like offer, acceptance, consideration and breach of contract. Talking about the amendment, originally the Act had 11 chapters and over the time it was split, that is, a Contract Act having section 1 to 75 deals with the general principles of valid contract, then the Sale of Goods Act 1930, and next is the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So, foundation of commercial law, it remains the backbone of the Indian commercial and civil transactions, covering both oral and written contracts. So, have a brief summarization of this. The Act was enacted in the year 1872. What was the reason? To ensure uniformity, fairness and legal certainty in the contract based on English common law, current status applicable to all over the India including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, key section general principle of valid contract section 1 to 75, and the amendment some parts separated into independent laws like Sale of Goods and the Partnership Act. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a great day.